time to be alive. Whereas today, you've got to navigate things we never even thought about. I wouldn't know what was going on down the road. I wouldn't know what was going on in the village next to me, the town next to me, unless
No,
you read it.
no.
Unless you read it in the local paper or knew there was an event happening, um, you wouldn't know. And so, like 99.9% of the things that were done in the world, I didn't even know existed. Whereas now I have internet friends from all around the globe, people I've never met and never will meet. And
Mm,
because we didn't grow up with that, we're not going to be the best people to write the rules about it, because we're far more offended by some things because our default kind of behavioral patterns, default beliefs are from an era before the internet existed. Well, this is how you should behave in society.
yeah.
Whereas, the next generations will be the ones that actually police it far better.
Yes. Yes. I agree to an extent, but I don't have an opinion on what that extent is, so we'll just stop that there.
So an example would be, I don't think I was on Facebook until I was about 30 years old.
Mm.
Whereas Australia now has banned social media for under 16s and under.
I think Denmark have done something similar with under
Yeah,
13s. And do you know what? I I do think that's a good way to go because
I'm
social media
100%
it,
for it.
it was really weird because obviously when I first started social media it was always from a business point of view. I never got it
Mm.
from a personal point of view. I really struggled with that. Um so I never thought about kids being on social media outside real Facebook and their parents posting about them, which I always thought was a little bit weird anyway. I didn't really do that too much with mine because I just found it weird. Um but that's my own take on it. But because I was there and my frame of mind and my frame of reference was, well, it's business. So it was MySpace. I was massively active on MySpace, but that was business. I was running a fashion business. It was an alternative fashion. And I was friends with people like Nightwish and Within Temptation
Mm.
back at that time. Didn't speak to them, don't get me wrong. I wasn't embroiled in them in that sense, but they were there through my feed all the time and there'd be references and occasionally I might get something back in a comment from them, which was quite nice. But that's it. It was quite nice. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. That's it.
Yeah,
Because my perspective was business, and I had my website at that point on Dita Von Teese's website. Marilyn Manson's
yeah, I
ex-wife.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So my website was promoted across her website and stuff as well. So again, it was all kind of intertwined in a fashion business in alternative fashion. So I never thought about it outside that. And but then we saw kids getting social media, um, and it did become this weird thing where bullying took a whole different turn. Um, Keyboard warriors, as they're commonly known as now, became a whole new concept, and trolling and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like,
yeah.
okay, this is weird. This is weird. But my kids never had social media until they were in their late teens. Well, my son certainly until he kind of almost left school, and my daughter um probably not so far off the same. She's definitely in her last couple of years of school, but she only ever really used Instagram at that point to post her artwork because she's a lot like me in the fact that she doesn't care about having her life on social media. So you will very rarely see pictures of her. It's all of her artwork.
I just remember that. I just remember when it didn't exist, and I kind of remember how I fell into it. Um, and yeah, just it meant different things to different people in some respects.
Mm,
And I just, I definitely agree that I think if you're under 16s, you should not have social access to social media in any way, shape, or form. And partly because of the evidence around how it affects um, the brain's development, especially around
yeah,
instant gratification and scrolling, and also without sounding like the grumpy old man. There is that point where when I was growing up, and it had been the same for you, boredom was one of the best things that happened to us because it made us curious and it made us go and do things. So if
Yeah.
somebody said like, "Oh, I've heard about such and such, a car crash or something was found and it was a 5 mile walk away," you went because you had fuck all else to do and it sounded exciting.
Get on your bike, go ride up.
This is what I mean. And you'd go and kill an afternoon doing that.
Yeah.
If you went round to see your friends and they weren't in, and their mum or their dad said, "Oh, I think they went down to the rec club or they went down to so and so park or whatever," you'd go and
Yeah.
cycle down there or you'd walk down there on the
Yeah.
off chances that's where they were. And it
Yeah.
wasn't unusual. And because we had to kill boredom, one of the favorite things I miss is, do you remember when you'd buy a magazine? They were weekly, fortnightly, and monthly. You'd buy a magazine. And when that magazine come out, you would quickly read it and you'd read the main articles. You'd just kind of read it. And then once you'd done that, you would start reading the bit between the articles, the pages between. And then 3 or 4 days later, before you know it, you're reading the adverts. But by the end of the week, you've read that magazine, the main parts of it, 3 or 4 times. And you can
And
almost
done the
recite.
puzzles in the back,
Yeah,
or the
but that's what I mean.
competitions that were in it. Join the competitions that were in it as well.
Yeah, and you've even read the letters and all of that stuff, and you would read it differently over different days.
Yeah.
And whereas now, oof, I don't know if I can do that. I've got 20 reels to get to flick through because I've been sent them, and and half of those reels I might have already seen, so I just send back a like emoji and flick through it to the next one. Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's just like there's no attention span anymore, and
Yes.
that is down to social media.
Yes. Yeah, I do find that's changed in me as well. The attention span that I used to have for being able to do stuff
Mm.
has definitely um halved at least, if not more.
And another
Because
thing I don't necessarily like as you and I were talking, I was getting pinged from work and I'm looking, do you know what I mean? Because now that we have 24-hour contact, I am expected to respond to work, which I don't mind, but I'm trying to have a conversation with you. But I can't flick down. Sorry, I can't ignore it because one of the stupid fucking questions the silly cow has asked is the vehicle diesel? I'll tell you what, why don't you fucking go out and have a look at the fuel cap and read what it fucking says? But I can't reply with that. I have to reply, yes, it's diesel.
to be fair, the latter answer is shorter to type.
But, you know what I mean? But that's how bad it's got.